Hey folks, today I want to recommend a little writing for you. It's by Razib Khan, and it's called You Can't Take It With You, Straight Talk About Epigenetics and Intergenerational Trauma. This is one of the most wonderful writings ever. You're going to need a certain amount of, verbal IQ to read it. You will need a decent verbal IQ to read this sort of text in one sitting. But what's a wonderful thing about this text is that it can help you bring home the idea that whatever sort of multi-generational or transgenerational trauma you have inherited is not actually encoded in your genes necessarily, okay? Obviously, if you take multiple generations of people and they've been eating suboptimal diets with insufficient nutritional value, then you are going to have, accumulating damages. And, there's a lot more that can be said about that sort of thing. But there are certain ideas that, there's such a thing as transgenerational trauma on the ground of certain kinds of epigenetic changes, and they're not necessarily founded in anything that's all that rigorous. According to this article, which I read a while ago, I have not exhaustively studied this topic, but I just want to propose to you that if you're out there and you think that you have some sort of frazzled nervous system due to genetic inheritances from, a line of people who were traumatized in your background, you may be mistaken. And in fact, so mistaken that you can actually adopt something of a much more optimistic and positive outlook about what you can fashion yourself into if you throw off the notion that you just, I guess, come from a long line of victimized people or something, So, if you know anything about the history of my folks in North India, you'll know that we weren't exactly a bunch of conquerors, explorers, and, adventurous inventors and people like that. So we just kind of kept to ourselves across generations. And in certain times, we may have been subject to invasion, and so it's not exactly a dignified conception of one's history if one happens to be a man. But yeah, articles like this can actually be a real game changer for you, and they can help you reach that sort of functional attitude that I'm not what happened to me, I'm what I choose to become, okay? I adopted this perspective kind of in a pre-verbalized form early on, and I think it's part of the reason why I became differentiated from my parents and from others in my bloodline. I knew what I aestheticized and regarded as beautiful. This is not to say that I succumb to some naive growth mindset and think I can do anything, because no matter what, I'm never going to be able to, say, have the aptitude or achievements of like an Edward Witten. Okay, I'm not built like that. But whatever traumas existed in like my past ancestors who were subject to colonization or something, I think do not exist in my body today. I can use certain interventions, particularly chamomile tea, stress relief tea, magnesium citrate, deep breathing, leisurely private time activities, naps, ambient music, etc., to keep myself calm and not view myself as like just a passive recipient of all kinds of damages. So this sort of article is intellectual fodder for a certain foundational perspective that can nourish you as you try to navigate life intelligently, So to quote someone I once read on social media, I'm maybe one of the first in my bloodline, one of the first people in my bloodline to not care about what my bloodline thinks of me. And that's very liberating. It's very freeing. So, as the cliche statement goes, I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. You should read the poem from which that line emerges. It's gorgeous. All right, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Stay sharp and sober, and God bless you.